Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Tougies podcast. We are back again to talk about everything going on in the world of hockey. I am here with Mr. Sin for the win. And Mr. Endo Mills here as well, taking a bite of a sandwich?
That's an Uncrustable, sir.
That's a pita.
Oh, you're less cool now. Fuck you.
Uncrustable.
Uncrustable.
Uncrust yourself.
With Manscaped, you can use code Tougie at checkout for 20% off your order and free shipping. We want to thank Manscaped, the official sponsor of the Tougies podcast. Of course, we thank them very, very much as always. Manscaped, get the best tools for the job. Code Tougie at checkout. 20% off, free shipping. Take care of yourself as we head into the fall. You might think, oh, it's about time to start making sure I'm a bit warmer. No, it's not. You hold on to summer. You hold on to it. Sin's holding on to it. It's been like 112 degrees in California.
Not by choice, motherfucker. It is so hot here, man.
I'm surprised you're like, I don't know if I could do anything if it was that hot.
Did I show you the reading on my my thing yesterday? I probably didn't. No, if you have no reaction.
No,
so I got an AC in my room, and I have obviously the normal AC. So it got up to 115 yesterday, which was record breaking. And my inside temperature peaked at 93 degrees with my two ACs going.
So again, that is an inside the home temperature of 33.8 Celsius for those of you outside of the U.S.
Finns hate life. Just hearing that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Absolutely awful. So, Sid, I'm glad you could be here today. We got some questions, of course, as always, that I think you're going to like. And we get to talk about the Sharks in a somewhat positive way. Kind of. We'll get to that in a moment. But again, welcome to the podcast, Manscaped. You know the whole deal. Things just kind of came together pretty fast. But yeah, we do have viewer questions, as we always do. Again, for those of you listening, watching, whatever, in the description is the link to my Discord. There is the viewer questions section. And you can ask a question like these fine people have and did here today. We start off with the Reds Rebels. This one is very much directed towards me. Based at the timing of this podcast. Oh, yeah. So
I heard he scrolled down.
Yeah, so this game literally just went final. Reds Rebels asking, should Liverpool sack their manager Jurgen Klopp, seeing as they've had their worst start in multiple years, and at the time of writing, they're down 3-1 to Napoli in their first Champions League game. Joke's on you. They lost 4-1. And no, they shouldn't. No, they should not get rid of him. That would be a horrific mistake. You do not fire someone after years of success at the first real sign of issues. Now, they did have issues a couple years ago in the Champions League when they finished fourth. Of course, there were a lot of injuries involved in that at the time. That was a little bit more understandable. You don't do what Chelsea did today and fire the guy who won them the Champions League like a year ago. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I would be furious if he were to be fired. To put this into hockey terms for Sin and for X-Tech, it would be like Pittsburgh firing Mike Sullivan if they started off the season poorly after winning back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah. Or it would be like getting rid of Andrei Vasilevsky if he goes 5 games, letting in 8 goals in a row. Yeah.
My comparison, but worse.
It'd be like firing Gerard Gallant at the first sign of issues when he just, when he gave you all that. Oh, wait.
There you go. Well, you kind of get it. I mean, the Gallant comparison's fair with the exception of the lack of success, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Our first real question of the day from RG Dust, because why the hell not? Would you rather fight a predator or a Canadian goose? Predator meaning like a lion or a cheetah, etc.
So would you rather fight a predator or a predator?
Right, because the Canadian goose, for those who do not know, now again, I live in Maine, so I'm well aware because these fuckers travel south a little bit. These motherfuckers are territorial.
They were all over Finland too, by the way.
Yeah. They're not a fan of you encroaching on their territory whatsoever. Very, very territorial. I get to see some when I get to drive down the road and they'll just be chilling on the side of the road. I live in a weird place. I mean, obviously, I'm going to take my chance with a fucking goose as opposed to a lion or a cheetah, for fuck's sake. But I get the point of saying that Canadian geese are not to be messed with. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, here in Canada, they're both predators. So, like, you're kind of screwed, honestly.
The Canadians' greatest predator, the goose.
The goose. Step aside, moose.
Oh my god,
okay.
man.
When
We got
you
bears.
yeah.
It's all about them geese.
You want the Canada Gooses. You got a problem with Canada Gooses, you can problem with me. I suggest let that one marinate.
Oh god.
Good old Leonard
Beautiful.
Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm taking my chance with a goose. Like, I mean, the geese here where I am, they're less terrifying than the Canadian geese. Like, they hiss at you and shit. Sometimes they'll attack, but, like, I don't know. But to be fair, in Finland, we did feed some of those Canadian geese at a park, and they were chill then. Although, when you got too fucking close, they hissed. Like, even as you're feeding them, they'd still hiss at you as you fed them, dude. Like,
thank you, you fuck, for feeding me. I'm so appreciative. Get away!
Yeah. But I mean, it was the time of the year where they all had young too, so like I get it. Like,
that's the problem.
Yeah, like, I gotta fuck with them.
You
goddamn
you
youth.
You can feed me, just don't get too close.
Yeah.
Oh god, like I get the idea of comparing a goose to a cheetah. Is there anyone who would actually be like, yeah, I'm gonna take on this fucking cheetah, as opposed to taking your chances with a goose?
Like, a cheetah isn't that huge. Like, to be fair, it could probably still fuck you up, but like, it's not that huge. A lion, like, what the, like, when you think of predator, like, lions, like, you die instantly. Tigers, you die instantly, because actually what tigers do is that when they bite you, their teeth have like these really like sensitive nerves,
serrated edges.
No, they check your pulse when they bite at you, and then they'll reposition and go right for your carotid. So at least it's quick. But
all right, I'm never leaving my house again.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that's what we need on every show. Welcome everybody to the first edition of Sin's Animal Facts. We'll see you next week. Feel free to load up on the questions.
Yeah.
Oh, our next question though from PK Subban Enthusiast. What the hell does that even mean? How can you be
It's just me. It's just me.
He's an old school guy. He thinks slew footing's good.
How can you be an enthusiast of a person though? Like you can be a skiing enthusiast because it's an action.
Maybe he just he just PK Subban's. He runs around tripping fools, man.
Okay, I mean a person who is very interested in a particular activity or subject. So
just call yourself a stan. Fucking hell, like
the person can be a subject. So I guess it makes sense. Similar fan, fanatic. Okay, it makes sense. But you think of enthusiasts like, yeah, I like cars, not like, yeah, I like this hockey
specific person.
Oh God! You get $10 million for life. However, you'll need to have Derrick Henry, running back of the Tennessee Titans, come at you and stiff arm you every day for the rest of your life at any time of day. Would you take it?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Kidding me?
Maybe.
What? Having like a week of pain versus like having fucking money?
Yeah, a week of pain. Like what happens when you're 80 and that fucker just kills you?
Right.
No,
there's a certain age where you're not bouncing back from that.
Yeah.
Good. I don't want to be around them by then. Jesus.
At the same time, well, he's 28. Fuck's sake. Yeah, he's only a month older than me. Fuck.
Well, I was just assuming it's always prime Derrick Henry, or does he age with you?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I was gonna say, if he ages with you, it might be okay.
Yeah, because honestly, I'd take it if he ages with me, because that fucker's going down quicker than I am with the sport he plays. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got some
but
miles.
The reality
on him, right?
is like
so here's the part where it gets special. By the time that he hits a certain age, a clause comes in and his kid joins him.
Well, here's so my thought. Whammy.
So it's like one on the left side, one on the right. Just go through the fucking fusion dance, like fucking Dragon Ball Z. Just go through, you're done. You're toast.
My thought was, it's kind of like the snail question. Where it's like
Oh,
if
yeah.
a snail touches you, you die. So it's
That's
like
a whole
if I'm in an airplane, you put the
That's-
pressure on him.
Bro, he's in the fucking flight suit, just up, I'm going at you, just going
Like-
I'm coming, sucker! I'm coming!
Like, can I Taylor Swift this bitch and just take an airplane anywhere the fuck I want at a moment's notice to
that's why
avoid
he's on the
Derrick
flight.
Henry?
Oh.
He's on the flight.
No,
At
he's
the
always
same
there, apparently.
time,
He's your
at the
stewardess. He's
same
on the
time, I think I have a way out of this. Because if he is obligated to stiff arm me every day, I just move outside of America. And then he would be required to constantly be outside of America, to which point the Tennessee Titans ownership would have to buy out this clause and give me my $10 million so that he will stop and actually have time to fucking play football.
Fucking
Listen.
went for it. You know what? We're ending it right there. That's a terrific.
Checkmate, atheists.
Yeah. Go fuck yourselves. John Hamm is your Jesus.
From Hawks, what is the most underrated snack of all time? Endo, I mean, do you feel like
Right?
popcorn isn't appreciated enough?
I make it appreciated. I bring it every goddamn episode. I swear to God. Like if I could, I would spend that 10 million from the last question just on popcorn. Honestly, I would do that. Honestly, you have no fucking idea. I had an actual idea to get a popcorn machine in here, like one of those old school, old fashioned ones, so that way I can just pull up and honestly, it's worth the investment because you can just buy
Why
it
that
from.
noise in the background of every podcast? It's Endo's popcorn machine.
Yeah, it's not like I can rip ass and be like, no, it's the popcorn, honey. Don't worry. Let's just see. Favorite snack, pretzels. I don't know. I like a good pretzel.
You know what? Those I would say those are underrated. You know?
Yeah.
I agree.
Pretzels are bomb, man.
Damn.
You know what's really good? Dipping pretzels in cream cheese.
Ooh, what the fuck? You had me at you had me at dipping, and you say cream cheese, and I'm like, I
You
don't
don't
know.
like
But
cream
I'll give it a
cheese?
shot.
Dip it in like chive and onion
Dude,
cream
I
cheese.
fucking love cream cheese. Sometimes I'll just grab a spoon of cream cheese, and I'll just be like,
Don't.
and then I'll
No.
grab. Shut your mouth.
you don't.
Shut your mouth. Let me finish. I'll grab the cream cheese and I'll grab nachos. And just go through it. It's right through. It's great.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, I combine the
Oh, I
two,
would
but like my mouth is the mixer. My mouth is the my mouth.
You're one of those
Is the mixer.
episode title. You're one of those guys that buys that fucking peanut butter and jelly in the same jar, aren't you, Endo?
No, I actually don't. I don't
Oh.
like peanut butter and or jelly. I like Nutella though. I had too much peanut butter jelly as a kid, so I
If
can't
there's
stand
chocolate on my balls, does that make it Nutella?
it.
Sid, what's your most underrated snack, buddy?
This is a tough one, man.
Yeah.
Chocolate on his balls. Jesus.
I think, honestly, for me, I don't know if they're underappreciated, but I think salt and vinegar chips are absolutely elite. And I feel like they're
Oh,
hated
yeah.
by
The
some
correct take.
people. Yeah.
And if you say it with a certain accent, it gives you an excuse to get a quick card for the moment.
Like, they're just so good, salt and vinegar chips. Like, they just slap so hard. And I feel like not a lot of people appreciate them. They're going to go for barbecue. They go for, like, that cheddar cheese bullshit from Marshalls, or, like, sour cream and onion. And I feel like salt and vinegar is always left off that list.
This is a tough damn question. I'm going to go with my more recent answer. And I will generalize it by saying Teddy Grahams. But
Ooh.
there is this company that makes essentially an adult version of a Teddy Graham.
How do you adult up a Teddy Graham?
By stuffing a shitload of protein in it.
I see.
Protein? I thought you were gonna say it was like an edible. I'm like, Jesus, dude.
I mean,
I didn't
they
know you were
might
that
have
kinda
that
guy.
version of it too.
Probably.
But it's a company called, I think, Kodiak Cakes. They make a
Oh,
bunch
yeah,
of different
yeah.
stuff. But
I've
yeah,
seen
they
their
have these like
waffles and shit.
yeah, and they have these. They are basically Teddy Grahams called Bear Bites. I'm addicted to them. Absolutely addicted to them.
Is that the one snack you kept talking about like last year? It's like I want to be
Yeah.
sponsored by them. Yeah,
Yes.
when I go over the Maine, I'm not sure when. You gotta let me try some of those. Like I gotta try it.
Good, man. They're good. Absolutely. That's a tough one though. I mean, Jesus, look at my face. I like snacking.
Yeah.
That it's tough to yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
No, I was catching up to your
I
first
know.
thing that you said. Sorry.
I know. I know.
And I was
I know. It's okay.
Oh, we're too close. Jesus Christ.
fuck, man.
Beautiful. From AJ, your first live NHL game experience. Do you remember it? What do you recall? Sin, I'll defer to you first. Do you remember
we
your
did this.
first?
I know I talked about it when
Maybe
I
we
was
did.
on,
But
when I was a
Yeah.
guest, the first time I was a guest on this show back before Endo came along. Yeah.
the good old days.
Suka, yeah. Jesus Christ. Jesus
That's
Christ.
so mean. Yes, I was.
Love
I
you.
can't remember if the Sharks were at the Cow Palace at this time or if it was SAP Center, but I was like 7 years old, I want to say. It was like 96, 97, so you could probably look it up. They may have been at the where the now SAP Center is. And yeah, they played the Avalanche. And, you know, there's Peter Forsberg, Joe, like all those fuckers, and Patrick Waugh in net, and the Sharks got shut out 2-0. But there was a fight in the first 12 seconds of the game between Sandis Ozolic, who was on the Sharks at that point, and someone else.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find this.
Tony
I'll go to
Granato was on the team. I remember he got hit against the boards and his helmet kind of like flopped off a little bit, and he like did like a thing and it came back on. I have weird like glimpses. I remember Mike Vern. Was it Vernon in that at that time? Yeah, I think so. So it might have been 97 then, or 98.
Let's see. Sandis Ozolic
Yeah.
had. Oh, I'm double checking. Hockey fights. Let's see.
I'm looking for
here.
the exact date.
I'm
That's
looking.
Wild.
Let's see. He had one fight in 97-98. It was against it was for Colorado against Arizona though.
Oh, so it must. Shit. When the hell was he back? When was he on the Sharks? Because I know he was on the Sharks.
Let's see. He had a fight in 2000, 2001. That was
No,
for
it was way
Carolina.
before this. Yeah.
So yeah, it must not have been him. Sorry
What the fuck?
to poke holes. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Maybe it was a zoo. Huh. Anyway. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Well,
His
someone.
whole childhood was a lie.
Shit.
Just
Yeah,
fed
anyway,
through
but
MK Ultra.
I remember that. Yeah, and it was a shutout from Patrick Waugh. Like, yeah.
God, I will see if I can
Look up
hunt
Patrick
this.
Waugh shutouts. There you go. He had.
God, let's
with
see.
Colorado.
Yeah, good luck. You're gonna be
List
weeding
of
through.
Patrick Waugh shutouts. Let me see. So Patrick Waugh career shutouts. Shout out to statmuse.com. Holy shit. All right, this might be more tough to find than I thought.
Yeah, it was someone there in like 96, 97, 98 around that time.
All right, let's see. Did he play for Colorado at the time, or are you sure it was Montreal?
No. Yeah, it was Colorado because I don't think they had interleague play at that time.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay,
I
let me
100%
see
it was Colorado.
what we have for Patrick Waugh shutouts. I will allow Endo to take over, and I am going to try to find this game from Sin's childhood.
So I already talked about this on extension of the podcast several times. This was the episode. Right. This was the game when Claude Giroux hit the fucking Datsuk on Jonas Gustafsson, and it was the first hockey game that I went to. Also the first jersey that I ever got first hockey jersey I ever got was custom with my last name on it, double O in the back because I'm a fucking baller. And first overtime, first shootout.
I might have found it.
Oh my god.
I might have found it. Sorry to cut you off there, Endo.
No, it's
I might have found it. Let me see.
That's more important. Anyway, that's more important.
March 21st, 1998, Sharks lose 2-0 in a Patrick Waugh shutout.
Uh-huh.
Goal
That
scored
sounds like
by third period, Valeri Kaminsky, John Clem. 15 penalty minutes for the Avs, 17 for the Sharks. Let's see. Does it have fight info? I'm gonna keep digging. Sandis Ozolic was in the lineup for Colorado.
Oh, so it must have been he was on Colorado then. Weird. He must have just come from the Sharks then, because I know he was on the Sharks.
Right, I'm gonna dig deeper. I'm gonna move it over to Hockey Reference. Endo, continue your story.
Yeah, so it was the day of his day that Claude Giroux got hurt. I think it was the day before, he was having a wrist issue. And then this guy just pulls out a clean Datsuk. I'm looking at the clip right now, so it's like fresh in my memory. It was March 10th, 2012. Back when that Leaf team was absolutely garbage.
Yeah, that was a rough time in Leafs history.
Yeah, and he almost knocked the ball right out of the back of the net over there. You can see me in the back of there. It was the only goal that was scored in that shootout. The only goal that went in the entire game. Like,
oof.
Beautiful. You can see me at the top of my uncle. My uncle's sitting down in the back. Like, so he's a big guy. He's sitting back like this, like looking back. I'm like, oh, wow, you really enjoyed that game, huh, Andy? Huh? I'm like, yeah, it was great. It was awesome. It was great to be here. But then I was like a lot louder. He's like, yeah, it was great. It was awesome to be here. Oh my god! Like, yeah. So, yeah.
So I don't know for sure if this was the game because I don't see an Ozil fighting major.
It might not be him.
There was a game March 21st, 98 where Patrick Waugh shut out San Jose.
That's gotta be it.
That
I know there was
a
fight. Like,
yeah. God, that Sharks lineup, by the way.
It was rough.
Oh my god. So let's see. Mike Vernon was in goal for that one.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Let's see. Who the fuck? Time on ice leaders. On defense, Marcus Ragnarsson, Todd Gill,
Yes!
Bill Holder. Yeah, Owen
Let's
Nolan,
go.
Jeff Friesen, Mike Ricci.
Woo!
A very young Patrick Marleau played 13 minutes that night.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, the good old days. Good old days. For me, so flat out, and I've talked about like family history a lot too. I got to go to a game or two when I was super young. I don't really remember much about it. And then my family's financial situation changed a lot. My dad was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, pretty much took away his ability to work for a living. So yeah, our financial situation changed when I was 8-9 years old. It's not like we were super fucking well off. It's like we went from lower middle class to definitely lower middle class, if not lower than that, for a good amount of my childhood. So the one that I can really like vividly remember was the first time that I was able to pay to take my dad to a Bruins game. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me confirm this thanks to Hockey Reference, but I'm pretty sure it was the season opener for the Bruins in the 2012-2013 season. They played the Tampa Bay Lightning, I do believe, or was it the season before? I am trying to get confirmation on this. It was 13-14.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got that game right here. So that was October 3rd, 2013. A beautiful day where the Bruins won 3-1. And it was just a damn good time. It's a damn good time. Milan Lucic scored that game, which was awesome. Bergeron scored a shorthanded goal.
Who'd you guys play?
It was Tampa.
Sorry. Oh, Tampa.
It was Tampa. Yeah. There was as I'm seeing here, a fight between Sean Thornton and Pierre Cedric Labrie. There was also a fight, and this is what I remembered, and I wanted to make sure, where Jerome Iginla fought Radko Gudas.
Oh, wow.
I get to see Jerome Iginla as a Bruin, so I was pumped, man. I was pumped. But
even at that stage of his career, that is still not even trade. But Iginla didn't give a fuck, dude. That's what I loved about him.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say
Tuukka stopped 32 of 33 because Tuukka Rask is the best goalie in Bruins history, and the majority of the Bruins fan base didn't fucking deserve him. Just gonna get that out there. Endo, you were saying?
Part of me thought, was like, my dad fought another guy, and we won, and we all clapped.
That would have been
that'd
fun.
be a true Boston story right there.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't remember if it was this game or another one that we went to that season. But I went to 3 games that season, if I'm not mistaken. That was the first one. What was the other one? I think they played Columbus or something like that. There was, and I gotta try to find this because it was an overtime winner. I don't remember against who, but the guy behind me went like the forward fist pump, like, yeah, and he caught my fucking glasses, and I thought somebody punched me. My glasses went flying 3 rows in front of me. This is no fucking lie. Yeah, that was an experience. I think that was a Lucic overtime winner. I could try to track that down. And I know I went to another game at the end of that regular season where the Bruins played Buffalo, and that was a game where Sabres goalie Matt Hackett left the game early. Yeah, that was a good season for me in terms of getting the games. But yeah, no, that was my that's the first one I can really remember. The other ones that I went to, like I said, I would have been 6, 7, 8-ish, and I can't, like, I remember being there, but in terms of details, fuck all. So yeah, there you go. And our final question from Jared the Rabbit, which will kind of bring us into our general topics for today.
Yeah,
How do you feel? There you go. So how do you feel? First and foremost, we'll talk about the Vegas jersey. He said, how do you feel about the leaked Golden Knights and Sharks uniforms? So
DHGate Canucks jersey. Done.
I was just gonna say that it just looks like the skate Canuck jersey with Vegas written on it in stupid letters because Rangers and Canes, and now everyone's got to do it. Minimal.
I don't mind it because in comparison to like the red reverse retro or the mustard jersey that they're running with a lot, I think this is the best jersey they've come out with since the original 2. Is that saying a ton? No, but I do like this jersey quite a bit, and I also like the very tacky sword on the pants.
I like their white jerseys, actually, their original white jerseys, mostly
because
I
own both Vegas home and road jersey because they're really nice.
It's the white gloves for me that do it. I liked that aspect of those away kits the most.
That's fair. Endo, your thoughts on the Vegas? You just kind of agree, like, yeah, it's a Canucks jersey.
DHGate Canucks skate jersey. You ask for one thing, you get another one. I remember a few years ago there was a Bar Down post, because of course there is. It was about how someone ordered a jersey online and they asked for a Philadelphia Flyers, and then they got a I think it was either a Pittsburgh Penguins jersey in the colors of the Flyers, and it had like a weird ass last name on the back. It was something fucked like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like completely the opposite of what they asked for. And it's like, yeah, that's DHGate for you.
Fair enough. And then there is the... Sorry, I didn't have anything to add to that. There is the proposed Sharks uniform, which if you guys didn't see it, I did just put it in our group chat there, which pretty much eliminates like the black pants and goes with a very, very much teal look for the Sharks that I would need to see more of to properly make up my mind. But the proposed look of what's out there so far, which you guys can find at Pro Shop Hockey on Twitter, it's not bad. But at the same time, I would need to see it in a different light, so to speak. But I don't hate it.
Well, to me, like, at least what I saw, it's just like a time machine. They're just kind of going back in time with it. I think they would need to alter it and modernize it a bit, maybe hybridize it a little bit, because I don't like the idea of just being like, hey, our new rebrand is what we used to wear. Like, I mean, if fitting, we're going to be shit for the next couple of years, so might as well have the shit jerseys, the jerseys on from when we were shit, but yeah.
I don't know. Like, I didn't mind the black pants look for them. If they were going to go super old school, silver being included would be really nice. So I don't know.
I'd see more of the silver or gray, whatever.
Yeah. So I don't hate it, but I also don't think it's like, oh my god, they are immediately jumping to the best look in the sport.
Yeah. Like, it's still one, in my opinion, that old logo is like one of the best logos in any sport. But yeah, you got to have a nice jersey around it.
And another great news for the Sharks, they signed Svechnikov.
Fucking plan the parade. Oh, what do you mean it's Evgeny?
It's Evgeny Svechnikov.
Bootleg Svechnikov.
Mine and Tougie's text exchange about that was goddamn hilarious.
As is every text exchange.
Yeah, you should have been there, chat.
Oh god. But yeah, so former first round pick, 19th overall of the Red Wings in 2015. He spent last season with the Winnipeg Jets, 72 games, 19 points. Gets a chance with the Sharks. This is exactly the type of guy that the Sharks would just be like, yeah, let's give him a chance type of thing. He had injury troubles. Like, it's, you might be able to fix him. I mean, he has shown talent, but definitely
Yeah.
had some injury troubles and just never really been able to take that step.
Yeah, I really think about that Ovechkin fight a lot. Or was that? No, that was
That was Andre.
No, was it? Oh, was it
Oh,
on?
yeah.
Oh, fuck! I forgot. I couldn't. I'm like, wait, yeah, I had to double take right there because I was like,
Wrong, Svechnikov.
wow, Svechnikov, or whatever the hell.
God.
Yeah.
So interesting times for the Sharks. Interesting times as well for hockey in general, because much like the World Juniors, there was a tournament that took place that got very, very little attention compared to what it probably should have had.
Yeah,
talking about the Women's World's Championship, where Canada did beat the US to win gold. They became the first nation to win gold at the Olympics and the World Championships in the same year. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people were even aware that this was taking place until the tournament was kind of overshadowed by the fact that Hockey Canada CEO Scott Smith was out on the ice presenting the gold medals to the team.
Yeah.
You know, while everything else is going on. So just kind of acting like nothing to see here, business as usual. So that was kind of gross, and it's good to see they're kind of taking the approach of not giving a damn. But yeah, kind of as was tradition, the U.S. beat Canada in the preliminary rounds, and Canada ended up beating them for gold. For the U.S. side of things, Hillary Knight became the all-time leading scorer at the Women's World Championships with 87 points. She passes Haley Wickenheiser. And the Czechia squad won bronze for the very first time. So
they're coming up, man. Congrats to them. Like they're making waves in international hockey quite a bit. And of course,
yeah, on both sides.
Yeah, and of course the best Czech guy of all time is playing. Tomas Hertl.
Fair enough. So all in all, I had to bring it back to the Sharks. But yeah, all in all, I mean, I'll be completely honest. I barely heard about this tournament. I barely did, and it sucks. I would have liked to have been able to follow it a little bit more, but in terms of how it was marketed, like you're talking about someone like me who is very much like plugged into the scene of the hockey world, it started on August 25th and finished on September 4th, and I didn't hear about it until it was over. Endo, your thoughts?
Oh, man, I have a lot to say about this, and a lot I really can't. Respect Whammon. One of them is, I can't believe you couldn't have gotten anybody else affiliated with Hockey Canada except for the CEO who was in the most hot water. You grabbed literally the most controversial person inside of Hockey Canada's company at the moment, besides people who did what they did. They know who they are. Let me see what else. TSN did very little promotion for it. Very little promotion at all. But meanwhile, over here in Canada, you'd hear literally everything about the World Juniors. It was all over the place. Every ad I'd get on fucking Twitter or Twitch would be just World Juniors, World Juniors, World Juniors. I'm like, okay, this is fine. And if you're gonna do that shit for them, you gotta do that for the women. I don't care. The women's game is growing in Canada. It's always been the biggest, if not like a step down. But you're treating it as if it's like a third class citizen. Meanwhile, the women's team has had more success than the males team over the past 10 years. Like you can't just throw something on it, and then especially whatever that's going on right now, and just be like, oh, we're just gonna leave it that way, just not do anything to improve it or make it better for anybody, just spit on the ground of where they're walking at. You could have literally grabbed Haley Wickenheiser or any other former Canadian athlete who's obviously Haley's the big one. You could have grabbed anybody like Sammy Joe Small, Pascal Campbell or whatever, like Campbell Pascal. Like you could do anybody, and they did nothing except just the same old road of going through. Another thing too is I think we're gonna talk about this later. I'm not sure about Sarah Nurse getting 80, getting rated a 90 overall in NHL 23, and people crying about it. Yeah, now's the time. Fucking grow up. It's a video game. The same thing they did in 2K. 2K22, when they announced the women were in the game, they're rated in the certain level that they're at in that competition level. She's going to get an 85 hut card anyway. All you people who complain about it, I'm going to say you people, but everyone who just keeps complaining about it, you can change the overalls yourself. Half the time, they're broken anyway. Half the community basically waits for this guy over here to go do it and to go fix the overalls and fix everything. Remember when we found out when the sliders for tendencies were broken and Phil Kessel had a 3 shot or whatever the fuck it was? and you're like, why is he like a 3? We should have like a 10 or something.
I mean, yeah, there were numerous players like
I'm
that.
gonna add to that thing. People were losing their shit and loving and putting this. When Zdeno Chara had a 99 card, people were playing him on the wing because of his insane reach, so that they could do those crazy moves and score goals. They had no problem doing that. So what's your issue with a 90 rated women's card in this fantasy game, whereas in Zdeno Chara can skate around like Connor McDavid?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have a problem with that, but
I mean, you know what their problem is with it.
of course, it's just
Whammon! Black Whammon!
It's
Whoa!
crazy. Like, hockey is so just lacking.
Racist, sexist.
Yes.
You can say it. I'll be very honest with it. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I was just gonna say it's so behind time, like just the culture around it. I was just gonna go deeper than saying, "Oh, it's sexist," because once you say that, a lot of people just fucking tune out, like because they don't want to face the music.
I'd like to think our audience would be.
Oh yeah, ours don't, but
yeah,
just in case.
In a general sense, yeah. I mean, well, Jesus, like last night, for example, Sue Bird retired.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you want to look at the comments like that, on a Bleacher Report post about that or something like that. And yeah, no, it's a common thread of, again, just some people feeling the need to just constantly tear down whatever progress is being made. It's like, oh my God, like God forbid Bleacher Report talk about the WNBA in a positive way, as opposed to following your attitude of it's only there because the NBA saved it and it wouldn't exist otherwise. It's just
cool. And now it does. Let's talk about it so that it can self-sustain. Like if you're bitching about having to be bailed out, then why are you complaining about it working to a point to be self-sustaining? Like that's the biggest tell right there. That it ain't about what they say it is.
Yeah. So just I don't know. And if you want to bring a conclusion to your point, but yeah, I mean you hit the nail on the head in terms of why would people complain about Sarah Nurse's rating in the game? Yeah. There's a reason for that. I mean, and some people might say, look, Tougie, all you do is complain about ratings in the game. It's like you don't see me complaining about that particular rating, though, do you? Because it's appropriate. It's hot. But no, that rating is definitely from an offline perspective. And from an offline perspective, if you're comparing women versus women, then Sarah Nurse is a 90 overall, is one of the best women hockey players, one of the best hockey players in general in the fucking world.
Because it's an offline, you can't play those teams against other teams. And if you did, then you'd have to balance it, I guess.
Yep.
So yeah.
Like
and every single video game perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah, and let's not act like EA balances their rosters well to begin with when they don't properly use a rating scale, and like every fucking player is at least a 70.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're playing the fucking Allsvenskan or whatever. And then it's like, we don't give a fuck about you.
Your number 40. Is your overall number is tied to the jersey number that you wear. There, have it. It's so stupid.
So yeah, the World Championships took place. Not nearly discussed enough, and it kind of sucks because I would have liked to have at least caught the gold medal game. I mean, Canada and the U.S. both kind of steamrolled their way to the final. The quarterfinals, Canada 3-0 over Sweden. Okay. The United States 12-1 over Hungary.
Hungary made it to the semis.
Hungary made it there.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Hungary made it to the knockout stage of this tournament, which is nuts. They finished over Germany and Denmark to get there, which is pretty surprising in terms of what you would expect.
Absolutely. I didn't even know they had a national team, much less a national women's team. Like that's awesome for them. Yeah.
And then semifinals, Canadians beat Switzerland 8-1, and the U.S. beat Czechia 10-1.
Oh, yeah.
So they're still the two superpowers in that sense, and the games are always amazing when they end up playing. But I missed this one. I'm sad. Wanted to mention a apparent rule change. This comes from Scouting the Refs on Twitter. One change to the NHL rulebook for the upcoming season. Referees will now be able to nullify a major penalty after video review. Confirming the major penalty, reducing to 2, and nullifying the penalty altogether are now options after video review. Shouldn't be getting too many calls wrong, huh?
Yeah, we know
that's kind of how this reads. On one hand, you want to look at this as a positive. On the other, considering I watch the Premier League and stuff like that, and they still have video review, and they still get calls wrong after video review, this is going to be a major topic of discussion throughout the season as the officials still get calls wrong despite video review. It's going to happen. We probably won't talk about it much as it happens because we're telling you now in early September, this is going to happen.
Yep. Like, I got really nothing to add. I had to read it a couple times. I was like, wait, didn't they already have them? Like, oh, they can just nullify it now completely. I was like, I guess I didn't know they couldn't do that. They could just reduce it, which is interesting. So this makes sense. It's, baby steps. But again, it gives the refs more tools. But every time we've seen it, the refs get more tools. They still get calls wrong. Nothing happens to them. And they never have to face the media. They never have to do any of that crap. Like, they never face, to our knowledge, any sort of disciplinary action. So,
is there an account, and Endo, you would know better than me, for, how baseball has like there's that Twitter account,
something about the
pitching ninja, or like what?
No,
so,
it's
there's a Twitter account called Ump Scorecards on a Twitter account called Ump Scorecards at Ump Scorecards that will end up judging the performance of an umpire on a game-to-game basis. They literally post the card after everything and tell you how consistent they are in terms of their accuracy, who their calls ended up favoring a little bit more, how accurate they are consistently compared to the average. Is there something like that for the NHL? Because I would love to see that. I really would.
No, probably but not. There's an account called NHL Review, but it's like 9,000 followers. Like, it's not affiliated at all. But it just like provides insight on like certain things. Like it'll look at like a call and be like, hey, that's a bad call, or like, shit makes no sense. Like when Victor Hedman got clipped by Lafreniere in the playoffs, in some states board, there was no call, and like, there was nothing there. And he's like, this makes no sense, whatever. But there's no real like big account. We don't have anything in depth like how there's in other leagues. Like, I don't think hockey's going to get to that point where we have people reviewing certain things. Like, the fact that baseball has an account that is just designed to let you know. Yeah. That is just designed to let you know if a home run would be in every single fucking ballpark is hilarious. There's an account. It's like, oh, if you hit a ball in, let's say you hit it over the Green Monster in Boston, would that be a home run in every other diamond or whatever? For example, like the right side field is super short. So if you hit a home run there, it won't be a home run. Yeah.
Fucks.
Yeah. Yeah. It won't be like a home run here or there or wherever. It's pretty cool.
Fair enough. Again, I would love something like that. Granted, it's a little bit different baseball to hockey in terms of comparing, but at the end of the day,
a lot more stat based too.
Yes, but I would still love that hockey wise to just be like, who can we rightfully go in on as being incredibly inconsistent throughout the course of an entire season, who is simply not doing a good enough job at their job. Let's get into talking about some of the signings, and that'll pretty much bring us to the end of the show, because there was quite a bit of news that happened over the past week. Let's start off with the talk of the town, the Ottawa Senators, who have made another couple of moves. They re-signed defenseman Eric Brandstrom, 1 year, $900K, kind of a prove-it deal. He's been good, but not elite. I'd argue he's even underpaid.
Not what they wanted, and when they traded Stone for him.
He's not quite 15th overall new Erik Karlsson.
Yeah.
At 23 years old. And then today they announced the re-signing of 20-year-old Tim Stützle, 3rd overall pick in 2020. Now he's got 1 more year on his ELC, so starting next season in 2023-24, 8 years at $8.35 million per, with a 10-team no trade kicking in for the last 4 years of that contract. Holy shit. That, much like what we kind of called out with Josh Norris, is we are putting all of our eggs into this basket and hoping that you continue to become what we think you're going to become. That's a gamble.
You know what? I like it, though. Because at the very least, you know what the Sens have done? They've locked in that core. Well, here's the thing. Yes, but why did they lose their stars in the past? They didn't lock them in long term, and they traded them in their prime because they likely weren't going to sign.
Yeah.
So I like this move by them, is locking in all these guys long term and having them through their, as in my opinion, the prime for NHL is now like a couple of years younger than it used to be. You can say.
I would agree.
So I think this is it's a gamble, absolutely, but I like that they're taking it.
Same,
and I really do. And like, you know, this is very much an NHL 22 move where you sign that guy for that 15% discount on that, you know, year before he starts getting good, because you know with his medium elite or whatever, he's getting up to that awesome spot. It's not as good of a discount as I can get because I'm amazing, but this is also real life, and it's still, it could be a solid deal. I mean, you think in 4 years, $8 million
not going to be that bad.
Looking a lot more like 6 right now with the new TV deal and all that kind of stuff. So if he continues on the trajectory he's on, if he produces well, I like it. No trade clauses are always iffy, but again, at the end of this contract, to be 29,
yeah,
I'd take a 29-year-old Tim Stützle.
Right. So honestly, it's one of those things that we've talked about. It is highly unfortunate that Eugene Melnick is no longer with us. I think he did do a lot of good, and obviously as a sports owner, maybe not the best. The problem is, though, or it sucks because it makes it sound like you're talking ill of the dead, but we all know, for the most part, would we expect the Sens to be where they are right now if Eugene Melnick was still at the helm of that organization?
Yeah,
History would say absolutely not. Yeah. And the bottom line is, Sens president today, they had a kickoff event where they announced the Stützle signing. Anthony LeBlanc said that season ticket sales are up 60% compared to where they were pre-pandemic. 60%. And again, that is off of bringing in Claude Giroux, bringing in Alex DeBrincat, re-signing Josh Norris, re-signing now, of course, Tim Stützle.
Brady
I mean,
Tkachuk.
they locked in Brady Tkachuk long term too.
You know, part of the increase is definitely due to them stopping being a complete basement team, but at the same time, yeah, the new kind of people at the helm are doing a good job to keep that momentum going.
Yes, there's a sense of optimism surrounding the team. And, you know, they also announced today that they brought in former players, fan favorites. Chris Phillips is now the vice president of business operations for the club. And Chris Neal is also a vice president, the vice president of business and community development.
And I hope he still goes down there on skates and teaches kids how to fight.
Like, it's just that idea of the leadership of the Sens right now are doing everything right on and off the ice. It's the idea, because you kind of remember when, like, Daniel Alfredsson was there, but Melnick's still at the helm, and that was a really weird kind of, like, soured relationship, and he left. But they're bringing club legends back in fairly prominent roles. They're doing great things front office-wise and bringing in certain people, re-signing the young talent. It's not a surprise that season ticket sales are up, and you're talking about the idea of if that arena deal in LeBreton Flats, essentially downtown Ottawa, if that goes through, this could be the best decade from an all-around perspective that the Sens have ever had. I mean, this is honestly astonishing compared to where we were not all that long ago, where it's like, what the fuck is this team doing? You have, I mean, Eugene Melnick, there was the Heritage Classic that he and Pierre Dorian both looked pretty terrible on broadcast, the way they were kind of talking. Pierre Dorian, we're a team. Like, just how quickly, in a general sense, like, this team has kind of overcome this and gotten themselves onto a very promising track. Super exciting time for Sens fans.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, with the Stützle deal as well, I mean, again, yes, it is a bit much now, like you mentioned, so it can, you know, age somewhat promisingly. And not all of their young players are already on the team. Like, they do still have some younger guys who are, you know, potentially going to be on the come up here in the near future. So makes me a bit worried as a Bruins fan, but at the same time, it's like, well, I can root for the feel-good story of Ottawa while the Bruins are getting shit kicked at the bottom of the standings once this era's over. So very good stuff for Ottawa across the board, no doubt about that. Another Atlantic Division team making moves, Montreal. After acquiring Kirby Dach at the draft, they have re-signed him on a, I believe, 4-year deal. Yeah, 4-year deal at $3.365 million for the 21-year-old Kirby Dach. They were able to do this after officially putting Carey Price on LTIR. The contract does put them over the offseason cap and 10% above the regular season cap, meaning they are going to have to make more moves. Whether that be, I know some people were debating whether or not like Paul Byron would end up LTIR'd, and that would certainly cover what they need to do. Not a bad deal for Kirby Dach. I mean, he's proven he can be a, approaching 30-point guy if he can stay healthy, but that's obviously been, again, his big issue so far in his career is he hasn't really been able to stay all that healthy and hasn't taken that next step up. But I don't hate this for the Habs. It is funny, though, to see them knowing that they're going to be shit, but they're also so pressed to the cap because of some of these contracts.
Yep.
But I would say, like, you look at their roster and Evgeny Dadonov, $5 million. That's a trade deadline move for like a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
They have options. They have options moving forward. I think, again, much like Ottawa. Now, granted, obviously the fan base, I don't think, was ever at the point where their owner was having to defend tarping off parts of the arena. It's just actively saying, well, we can't sell these seats, so I'm not even going to show them on camera as empty seats. But Montreal's had a big turnaround too, in recent months. Again, bringing in Kent Hughes as GM, and obviously just the front office changes there. Yeah, like I said, again, my main takeaway as a Bruins fan is it is interesting to see some of these teams that were in a rough spot less than a year ago, where you're like, what the fuck's going on here? And they are both on much more positive paths moving forward.
Yeah.
Speaking of positive paths.
Kind of.
The last episode of this show, we went in pretty hard on the Dallas Stars owner, Tom Ghilardi.
Yeah.
I would say rightfully so. The very next day, they did manage to sign Jake Ottinger, which, again, he had released a statement essentially, or there was an interview where he essentially talked about not wanting to pay younger guys after the expiring of their ELC because they deserve it type of thing. And I hate to say it, but the fucking guy got what he wanted.
Yeah, he did.
Jake Ottinger signs 3 years, $4 million per, which that's a pretty damn good deal for Jake Ottinger. From a sense.
Yeah. If he does what he does, but I never ever want to sign a goalie for more than 4 years. That's my personal preference at this point, because man, those contracts can go south quickly.
Fair.
So, but yeah, the price tag's really good for 3. If that was 2 years at $4 million, I could understand it for Jake. But yeah, the extra year is kind of good for Dallas, especially if he plays close to what he's played like. And
the Stars
RFA after that still.
I can double check that, and according to Cap Friendly, yes, he would be. He still would be an RFA at the end of it. So that again, you look at that deal, and it's like, good. Fuck, Dallas did. That's good. Dallas did better there than they should have, especially given those public comments. Yep. They do still have to re-sign Jason Robertson, though. They have $6.3 million of projected cap space right now, according to Cap Friendly. But a reminder of Jason Robertson, my favorite non-Bruin in the league right now. He has 125 points in 128 career games so far as a Star.
Point per game.
On the Stars, too, who are not a very offensive team.
Let's look into that a little bit here, shall we? Let's talk about the Stars while Jason Robertson's been there, which has really just been over the last 2 seasons. So 2021 and obviously 21-22. So in his first season, 2021, the Dallas Stars, in terms of goals for, which is not the best of the bunch, we're mid-table. They finished with 158 goals as a team. Colorado had 197. They were mid-table towards the bottom half. Then this past season, for the Stars, They were in about the same spot. Where the hell even are they on this list? Where the hell are the Dallas Stars at this point? 21st. So
with a 40-goal score, with Pavelski getting like 30.
To count it, 18th and 21st in terms of total goals for as a team in his time there. While at the same time, the owner is consistently calling out Ben and Sagan for not doing good enough.
Yeah.
He is either going to take an incredibly team-friendly bridge deal or something's got to give, because I'm sorry, but I know he's 23, but man, if Tim Stützle's getting the money he's getting,
yeah.
If Josh Norris, granted he is a center, but if Norris is getting the money he's getting, you get Jason Robertson for under $6 million. I mean, Christ, you should go to jail. Like, that's a crime. That's a crime, honestly, to pay that guy that little.
If he signs for the amount that they have left, it's 1 or 2 years max. Like, I would say 1 year is all I would take, that for to be a G for the team. But man, we'll see what happens.
They're a team with a lot of expiring contracts at the end of the upcoming season.
So I'd say 1 year bridge, yeah.
Yeah, if I'm him and they're saying, hey, we need you to take 6 or less, it's a 1 year deal, and the next year you're paying me $8-9 million. Yeah. Especially if I perform the same way. So yep. I'm very intrigued to see what happens there, because Dallas, the owner, I'm sorry, like, it worked out with signing Ottinger, but that whole idea of like, oh, we shouldn't have to pay young guys as much once they're off of their ELCs. I don't think you want to rock the boat and screw up a relationship with Jason Robertson, who is the best player on your team right now.
And the best Robertson in the NHL, too.
There you go. Suck it, Toronto. You ask me, like, who's the one guy you're taking off of this Stars roster? Like, I like Miro Heiskanen a lot. It's Jason Robertson, hands down. Over Ottinger, over Heiskanen, I'm taking Jason Robertson. No doubt in my mind.
Man, that would be tough for me, because I really love Miro. I think he's one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. But yeah,
he is very, very good.
You got to take. You probably still have to take Robertson, especially if he signs for $5-6 million.
I will say Heiskanen's on year 2 of an 8-year deal at just under $8.5 million, which, again, if the cap keeps going up, that's going to look pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. But you have a guy who, at 22 years old, he turned 23 in July. At 22 years old, scored 41 goals in 74 games at the NHL level.
Crazy.
I risk the house for that guy, Like, that's the bet that you take. The Edmonton Oilers finally acquired the prince that was promised. Ryan Murray signs a 1-year deal with the Oilers. A decade later, he finally goes to where he should have been the whole time, and to where the Oilers front office staff at the time wanted him to go. That is the infamous story from the 2012 draft, is that front office wanted to take Ryan Murray, and Daryl Cates, the owner of the Oilers, said, nope, we're taking Nail Yakupov.
Yikes. That's why you don't let owners oh, my God.
Yep. And Oilers fans, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the way I've always heard the story, and it certainly sounds like a Daryl Cates story. At the same time, like, I can understand the owner being like, take Yakupov, because obviously, like, he did look that promising. At the same time, what are you hiring scouts for if you're just going to look at a player at face value as opposed to someone like Ryan Murray? Which, look, Ryan Murray was never like the elite number 1 defenseman, but he would have been a Chris Phillips, a number 1 overall pick, where it's like, okay, hindsight, that's not the type of talent you want to take as the number 1 overall pick. But if Ryan Murray had been able to stay healthy, would he be a Chris Phillips and Eric Johnson? Yes. Unfortunately for him, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout his career. But that 2012 draft, man, Yakupov first, Murray to Columbus, Galchenyuk to Montreal, which it's still weird to me how that worked out.
Wait, he went to Montreal? Oh, I thought. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. He went to Montreal, and Arizona, then came back, didn't he?
Montreal, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Ottawa, Toronto, Arizona this past year.
Oh, I thought he went back to Montreal once. I guess not.
Do you guys remember who was 4th in that 2012 draft?
Absolutely not.
Oregon, right? No.
No, defenseman for the New York Islanders. 28 years old, retired at this stage.
What?
Played for the Belfast Giants of the EIHL this past season.
Nope.
Griffin Reinhart.
Oh my God.
yeah. Because then
Very
the Oilers
next-
traded for him. The Oilers traded for his ass.
The next picks, by the way, were Morgan Riley, Hampus Lindholm, Matt Dumba, Derek Pouliot, and then Jacob Trouba. Like that.
Boomba.
Jacob Dumba. You hit the nail on the head when you called that 2012 draft a minefield. That is one of the most interesting ones to go back and look at.
Holy shit.
Featuring Tomas Hertl going 17th overall to the Sharks.
What was it? 03-04 draft was like the top of the mountain. That had to be
My
Or was
God.
it?
Yeah, the 2003 draft is up there
Yeah.
as one of the best ever. 2015 has gotten there too. In a lot of people's mind, but yeah, 2012. It's like for your Andre Vasilevskis, Philip Forsbergs, Tom Wilsons. You have Jordan Schmaltz, Henrik Samuelsson, Stefan Matteau, like that. That was that was a
not the one on the Sharks. From
not
years
the
and years ago.
Matteau, but his son, where it was more of a Matt no.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Our final talking point, speaking of circuses, the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
They re-signed JT Miller after over a year of, are they going to trade him? Are they not going to trade him? He is still going to make $5.25 million for the upcoming season, which means at the age 30, 2023-2024 season, he has a new extension kicking in, 7 years, $8 million per, with a no movement clause for the duration of the contract, meaning he cannot be sent down, and a 15-team no trade list that kicks in for the final 3 years of the deal. Yeah, for those who aren't watching the video feed, I kind of had the initial reaction as Sin did when I heard about this deal. Now, JT Miller is a pretty freaking good player. By his own admission in an interview, he needs to get better defensively. He is coming off of a career best season. Do either of you know, without having looked at it, and if you did, let me know, do you know what his stat line was from this past season?
He
JT
had
Miller?
75 points, right?
He had
How many points?
he was over a point per game.
Oh, yeah, it might have been, huh?
He was
I
like
know is
90
correct.
points. 90 points or something like that in like 82 games.
So, prior to this year, his best season was his first season in Vancouver. He had 72 points in 69 games.
Nice.
Last year, as in 2021, 53 games, 46 points. So, again, a little bit over
Respectable
point
as
per
hell.
game, a little bit under. This past season in Vancouver, 80 games, 99 points
Wow.
Yeah.
with 32 goals.
Bruce, there he is. There. That's all it was.
I
basically.
guess, the only risky thing about this to me is like, yeah, he's established. You could probably count on him to at least be consistent for a few years. But yeah, it's that term, man. I know just how those contracts can start to look after 30.
That's why I wanted to save this for last, because I wanted
Yeah.
your opinion as a Sharks fan, because this is a very San Jose Sharks contract, at least in the
It
Doug Wilson
absolutely
era.
is. And here's the issue with it. And the only reason I'll give the Sharks some leeway is that the Canucks haven't had nearly the amount of success the Sharks had before they signed those contracts.
Right.
Like, the Sharks weren't like, here's our window, take your money, take your term, this is our time. It didn't work. That's what happens. And it looks shit now, but it is what it is. Where's that recent maybe we got it for the Canucks? They've missed the playoffs the last 3 years? Maybe they got in the bubble?
Yes, they did do well in the bubble, from what I recall from Thatcher Demko. So looking at a list of their most recent seasons, they have not qualified for the playoffs the last 2 years. In 1920, in the bubble, they beat Minnesota in the qualifying round, St. Louis in round 1, and then lost to the Golden Knights in 7 in round 2. But that has been their only playoff appearance since 2015. when they lost to the Flames in round 1. So they have 2 playoff appearances since 2013-14.
Yeah, it's just really risky. And for a lot of reasons. Like, it's a contract you give, like I said, to like, hey, here's our window. And
I think that's the game plan now, right? Like, instead of trading JT Miller for whatever futures,
because
this shouts as like, no, we're starting a window. We're in a window right now. This offseason they re-signed Miller, they re-signed Brock Besser, 3 years at $665. Horvat's deal is up at the end of next year, which is a little bit concerning, but this screams we're going for it. They do have some cap that they need to figure out. Depends on if someone's going on LTIR or not, but they're basically up against it. And actually, Michael Furlan's LTIR hasn't kicked in, so they're okay. Like, they're cap compliant. Their projected depth chart on Cap Friendly. Now, again, this JT Miller signing screams we're in it. This, and again, don't shoot the messenger. This honestly hasn't been updated since August 19th on Cap Friendly, but presumably, top line: Pearson, JT Miller, Connor Garland. I don't know if that'll actually be their top line, but you also round out the top 6, presumably, with Elias Pettersson, Bo Horvat, and Brock Besser. Now, maybe Pearson drops down to the third line. You bump up Ilya Mikheyev, Vasily Podkolzin. They have Jason Dickinson there. I don't think that's the worst top 9 in the world. And, Nils Höglander's still there. They signed Andrei Kuzmenko from the KHL, who was impressive, but you bring over a 26-year-old from the KHL, and who the fuck knows what you're going to get. Also signed Curtis Lazar. I do think they have a pretty damn good forward core. I don't know if it's necessarily elite, if it's, exactly what you would want, but could I envision that forward core competing and doing some damage in the playoffs? Yes. But then we get to their defense. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Tyler Myers. By the way, OEL at $7.26 million for a cap hit. Tyler Myers at $6 million.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn Hughes and Luke Schenn, Travis Dermott, Kyle Burrows, Jack Rathbone, Tucker Pullman.
A lot of 7s in there. There's a lot of 7th defensemen in there, I'd say.
Yeah, a lot of 6s at best. And then Thatcher Demko in goal, obviously. You're willing to bet on him at this point. I don't know. You re-sign JT Miller. It's clearly a statement of intent. But can your forward core and that goaltending tandem, is that enough to overcome what on paper, I don't know for sure. And again, as always, look, last year I thought fucking Seattle would be great because on paper they look great, and that was a disaster. But when we eventually get into our season previews about what the standings could look like in that Pacific Division, do I expect to have Vancouver in the top 3 to 4 in terms of that defense core? Maybe. But it would be a bit of a surprise. The advantage is that Pacific Division right now is a bit of a shit show.
Yeah.
So it does lead me to saying, hey, I'm excited for what the Pacific Division could be. And I think it's exciting for Canucks fans, which, again, I've always said it now for over 10 years now. Nothing against Canucks fans. Had it been a different team in 2011, I would have been rooting for you to win that cup. But I still see them as, like, second round exit to one of the favorites in the West. And I'm sure they're hoping for better than that. But that is it. That is the news for the week. Everything going on, like we said, whether you hear about it or don't, like the freaking women's tournament, which is, again, a damn shame.
Boo.
We will be back next week, which I think is one of our final, if not our outright final, 1 a week amount of episodes. I'm not sure. Again, the NHL season starts, at least preseason games start on September 24th. So I think we're likely to stay at 1 a week up until the beginning of the regular season, or at least close to it. Regular season begins on the October 7th. Season opener.
Wow.
Only game. Sharks and Preds. The overseas games, I believe, because they play on back-to-back days, 2 p.m. starts. So
in Czechia,
October
right?
7th. I believe so, yeah. I don't remember where those are starting. First one's at the O2 Arena.
That's an interesting place to have it.
In Prague. At that O2 Arena, not the UK O2 Arena. Back-to-back days at the O2 Arena in the Czechia. Yeah. So
Hurdle's gonna show everyone around. It's gonna be awesome. They better have some cool videos of that.
So from the looks of it, then we will begin probably our first. I think right at the beginning of October. So September, I think we're sticking it at one a week. But hopefully, again, we still have a decent amount to talk about as we get close to the training camp and stuff like that starting up very soon. For now, though, I'll throw it over to Mr. Endo Mills. What do you have going on, buddy?
Actually, I got a question. I was gonna say, are the NHL teams gonna be playing against the Europe teams, or do they stop that because Chicago almost lost to well, I can't remember who they played, but they did not do good that game.
I think they stopped it. At least on NHL.com, that did not appear to be a scheduled thing.
I just pulled up O2 Arena right now. Sharks and Predators will start the basic part of the 2022-23 season with mutual matches in Prague at the O2 Arena on Friday, 7th October and Saturday, 8th October. Avalanche and Blue Jackets will compete their 2 regular season matches at Finland's Nokia Arena. That thing's not going to break. In Tampere on Friday, 4th November and Saturday, 5th November. Before matches in Prague...
Mid-season? They're going over to Finland, huh?
November, yeah. Avalanche and
Enjoy,
Blue Jackets.
Boys.
Yeah. Before the matches in Prague, the Predators and Sharks will compete their training camps in Europe. Wow. Training camp in Europe?
Where'd you say? Oh, so they're in Tampere. I thought, okay.
Yeah. And each of them will play an exhibition match within the NHL Global Series Challenge 2022. The Predators will report to Bern, Switzerland, and on Monday, October 3rd, the Sharks will play an exhibition match in Berlin, Germany against Iserbar Berlin at the Mercedes-Benz Arena.
So there are a lot of overseas games, is what you're telling us.
Yeah. So basically Preds are playing HC Bern, and the Sharks are playing against Eastbahn Berlin.
Oh, we're gonna get wrecked.
The German league. Gonna get worked. All right, let's see. Right now, really quickly.
Timo Meier gets to play for the Germans because he speaks the language.
I need to look at who is on. Who is on that team that we would know? Right now, current roster for Berlin in the DEL features goaltenders. Okay, nobody major. Prospects: Juha Markkanen of the Kings, Nikita Kwap of the Carolina Hurricanes. Defensively, notable names: Brendan Gooley, formerly of the Ducks.
I remember him.
Julian Melchiori, formerly of the Winnipeg Jets. Offensively, everyone's favorite Twitter follow, Zach Boychuk.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Former Duck Giovanni Fiore. Marcel Nobles was in the NHL for a bit. Peter Reagan, Sens legend. Goal. Yannick Veilleux. You won't get worked. Sharks will at least beat that team. If they don't, oof.
Yeah.
So, Endo, what do you got going on here as we bring the show to an end?
Hi, my name's Endo, and I stream hockey sometimes, and I talk hockey very little. Yeah, that's what I do. You can catch me on stream tomorrow, actually, well, probably today when you hear this, like 12, maybe like 9, 10 a.m., just playing Be a Pro because I hate myself, and because I haven't really found anything else I want to play. Because I don't know, man. Like, that's me. That's what I do. I might do other stuff regarding hockey on YouTube stuff, but yeah, that's me. That's what I do. That's me.
Sin, what you got going on, friend?
Yeah, a lot of stuff playing Warhammer on my channel. So go check that out if you want to see me be nerd out and be extremely, extremely passionate about something. That's the place to find it. And I'll be starting a Draft to Glory series hopefully Friday. Anyway, sometime this weekend I'll be launching that as I need to get the team setup and whatnot. That'll be my last franchise mode of NHL 22.
For those of you missing NHL franchise mode from me, go support someone like Sin. I'm still in that weird spot of like, finally after like 6-7 years on YouTube of just like burned out on NHL franchise, and while the series I did have going are interesting, the motivation's just not there. So I'm hoping that recharging the batteries for the start of 23 will get me back to where I want to be. So go support the boys as you do. I'm still doing stuff, though. We're streaming every single night. Of course, the second channel has a lot of franchise stuff up. NCAA basketball, Madden 23, stuff like that. A lot of Madden content on that channel in the meantime. Yeah, for now. Until next week, we'll see you. Thank you again for listening to the Tougies Take podcast. Big shout out to Manscaped. Code Tougie at checkout. 20% off, free shipping. And enjoy these moments on the podcast, because the Bruins are going to suck after this upcoming season. And depending on how long this show sticks around, I'm going to be a sad, sad boy.